Have you ever wished you could reach into the silence and make your specific person think of you, feel you without saying a single word? In this video, you'll discover exactly how to talk to your specific person telepathically using Neville Goddard's proven method, a divine law cloaked in imagination and wrapped in truth. If you've ever longed for your SP to message you first, think about you deeply, or return to you with love, this teaching will open the door. Imagination is not a fanciful escape. It is the workshop of creation. The mind is the divine transmitter, the sacred wireless station through which all things are made manifest. What one holds in their imagination with conviction becomes impressed upon the unseen ether of life, and that which is impressed is always expressed by law. When a man or woman desires to speak to their specific person without uttering a word aloud, they need not seek the outer world, nor do they require the physical proximity of the individual. They must only turn within, to that holy place where all connection is born, the mind. For every thought is a vibration, and every image carried with emotion becomes a spiritual telegram, sent without wires, received without instruments, but felt with certainty. To speak telepathically to your specific person, one must first dwell in the realization that the connection is already established. You are not trying to reach them, you already have. There is no distance in divine mind. There is no separation between souls who are spiritually aligned. And when one holds the image of their beloved in the quiet of their imagination, not as a hope, but as a truth, the unseen forces begin to stir. The first error people make is believing that imagination is pretend. It is not. Imagination is the womb of reality. Whatever is held long enough and felt deeply enough becomes visible in the world of form. You are not daydreaming. You are directing. You are not hoping. You are instructing. When you speak to your specific person in your mind, you are not whispering into emptiness. You are sending forth a spiritual decree which must return with its own likeness. Picture their face. See it in detail. Do not force it. Invite it. Let it come gently like the rising of a sun. Once the image is firm and true, speak as you would if they were seated beside you. Tell them the words your heart longs to express. Tell them, you are thinking of me now. You feel my presence. You are filled with warmth when you hear my name. Then pause, listen, receive. In the quiet, allow their imagined response to rise up. Trust it. Whether it is loving, joyful, remorseful, or kind, it does not matter. What matters is that you accept it as real. That acceptance becomes the seed. Most people undo their spiritual work by doubting its impact. They declare a thing true in their inner world and then immediately look to the outer world for confirmation. This must not be. The outer world is always the last to know. When you send a telepathic message through imagination, you do not wait for a sign. You give thanks as though the message was already heard. And so it is. You say, it is done, and walk on in peace. Many have asked me, but how do I know they received it? And I say this, you know by the way you feel. If, after the exercise, you are filled with joy, with a calm certainty, with peace that passes all understanding, then it is done. The vibration has gone forth and it cannot return void. Do not disturb the seed with worry. Do not pull at it with impatience. Let it grow. Let it flourish in its own divine time. The imagination must be approached with reverence. It is not a toy, it is a tool. You are not playing pretend. You are aligning with truth. And truth does not argue, beg, or chase. It simply is. So when you speak to your specific person telepathically, speak not from desperation but from assurance. Speak not as one trying to convince, but as one remembering. You love me. You feel me. You hear me even now. These are not vain affirmations. These are the silent instruments of creation. I have known women who have brought back lost loves through nothing but the power of their inner conversation. I have seen men restore distant marriages by imagining their wife's laughter beside them once more. It is not witchcraft, it is not luck, it is law. What is felt within will always find its counterpart without. The world is a mirror, and imagination is the first brushstroke upon the glass. One must also be careful not to carry old fears into the imaginative act. If you speak to your specific person while still believing you are unworthy, or still clinging to the memory of past rejection, you are not sending a clean message, you are sending confusion. Clear the heart before you begin. forgive, release. Then enter into the silence with purity of intent and confidence in spirit. You may speak to them nightly. You may repeat the scene until it feels so normal that waking reality becomes the dream. And then, as surely as day follows night, they will reach out. Perhaps through a text, perhaps in person, perhaps in a way that startles you with its precision. But come they shall. For the inner world is the cause, the outer the effect. You must remember that you are not using imagination to force another's will. You are using it to align with your own divine knowing that love is already yours. That connection is already made, that you are already heard. Speak from this place. Think from this place. Feel from this place. And the entire universe will bend to match your inner truth, not by magic, but by law. Eternal, unchanging, undeniable law. The law does not respond to pleading, it responds to assumption. The great key to telepathic communication lies in this inner posture of conviction, where one no longer asks whether they are heard but assumes that they are. The moment a person shifts from wishing to knowing, from hoping to assuming, the unseen gears of the universe begin to move. One does not beg for their specific person to think of them. They assume that they already do. This assumption is not a wishful dream. It is the foundation of the creative process. It is the divine knowing that brings form to the invisible. When you hold within yourself the assumption that your specific person is thinking of you, feeling you, yearning for your presence, then that becomes your spiritual address. You dwell in the state of being chosen, remembered, loved. And because you dwell there, not for a moment, but as a resting place, the world begins to mirror it back to you in 1,000 ways. The message is received not because you forced it, but because you became one with it. Assumption is union. Assumption is alignment. To send a telepathic message without assumption is like sending a letter with no address. It floats in the ethers but never lands. But when you write upon the envelope of your heart, this message is already known by them. They are already in harmony with me. Then the message reaches its target. And the target, without knowing why, begins to turn toward you with fresh eyes and an awakened heart. The power is not in the longing. The power is in the knowing. The law responds to the conviction behind the act, not the desperation within it. The heart must be still. The mind must be clear. And then you must assume the very thing you desire has already taken place. Not next week, not tomorrow. Now, this moment. If your desire is for your specific person to think of you, you must first ask yourself, what would I feel if I knew they already were? And then you must step into that feeling as though it were your dwelling place. You live from that feeling, not visit it like a guest. You wake up in it. You go to sleep in it. You wear it like a garment that fits perfectly and never slips. Many speak words in their mind, imagining conversations with their specific person, but the words are hollow because they are still questioning their power. They do not believe they are heard. They do not believe their voice carries weight in the invisible realms. But when a man or woman speaks from the law of assumption, their words are not weak. They are charged. They are alive. The message becomes a decree, and all of nature responds to a decree spoken in faith. Imagine for a moment that your specific person is sitting beside you. Close your eyes and feel their presence. Do not imagine them as separate or far away. Bring them near with the strength of your inner sight. Now speak. Speak not to them as someone you are trying to convince, but as someone who already knows what you say is true. Say to them, you miss me. You think of me. You feel me close, even when you don't know why. And as you speak, assume that what you say is already believed, already known, already accepted. This is the secret so few understand. You are not trying to send a thought out to them. You are becoming the thought they receive. You are impressing your assumption upon your subconscious, and the subconscious, in turn, communicates with theirs. This is divine circuitry. This is spiritual electricity. You are not doing, you are being. Let your assumption be clean. Let it be quiet. Let it be full. If you declare, they are thinking of me now, then walk as one who knows this. Do not look for signs, for the sign is in the knowing. Do not ask when or how. Ask only, what would I feel if it were true? And then feel that. That feeling is the assumption, and that assumption is the key. I have known souls who changed the course of their love story, not through action, but through assumption. They stopped checking their phones. They stopped scanning the horizon. They went within, and there they lived in a world where the person they longed for was already connected to them, already thinking of them, already seeking them. And it came to pass. It always does when the assumption is complete. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot assume they think of you and also believe they've forgotten you. You cannot live in the state of being wanted and still speak of rejection. The law does not waver. It reflects your dominant inner state. So make that state one of certainty. Make it one of peace. Assume the bond is restored. Assume the message is felt. Assume the mind of your specific person is receiving your signal like a radio set tuned to your frequency. You do not need evidence to believe. Belief becomes the evidence. What you assume, you begin to attract. And what you consistently assume, you become. Speak your message telepathically and then release it into the law. Hold no doubt. Nurse no worry. The assumption has gone forth, and it will return bearing fruit. Let the truth rest in your heart. You are heard. You are received. You are remembered. Not because you strive, but because you assume. The spiritual law is not complicated. It is simply unwavering. Assume your specific person is thinking of you now, and in time they will speak it aloud. But first you must speak it in silence, and speak it with power, ready for the third keynote when you are. True power never begs. It does not push. It does not strain. It simply knows. That which is born of spirit does not move in force, but in faith. When a man or woman seeks to speak to their specific person telepathically, they often approach the process with great tension, urgency, or desperation. But the realm of the unseen does not respond to anxious energy. It responds to calm certainty. It responds to the steady beat of divine confidence. Force is of the world. Faith is of the spirit. When you attempt to force someone to think of you, to message you, to return to you, you are operating from lack. You are trying to bend the outer world through effort, through repetition, through worry. But when you shift into the spirit of faith, you do not push, you receive. You do not reach, you rest. And it is in that resting that miracles begin to unfold. Faith is not hoping something will happen. It is knowing it already has. Faith does not wait for signs, it creates them. When you speak to your specific person through imagination, and then anxiously watch the clock, check your phone or ask, when will they respond? You are stepping out of faith and into doubt. You are putting your seed into the soil, then digging it up again to see if it has sprouted. The one who truly understands does not check for evidence. They know that the word has gone forth. They know the law is perfect. They know that the moment the message was spoken in faith, it was received. And so they go about their day with lightness. They laugh, they rejoice. They carry the vibration of already having. And because they do, they draw it nearer and nearer. You may imagine your specific person thinking of you. You may speak to them in silence. You may declare, you feel my presence. You hear my voice. You are remembering the beauty we shared. But after this inner conversation is complete, you must let it go. You must not carry it like a burden, waiting for the world to reflect it. You must release it as a gift already delivered. Many people confuse doing with power. They believe that the more they visualize, the faster it will happen. They repeat the same scene in their mind with such intensity that they grow weary. But the power is not in repetition. The power is in belief. One heartfelt assumption carries more weight than 1,000 strained efforts. One moment of pure, unwavering faith can shift a universe of doubt. Do not try to make someone love you through thought. That is not the way. Love is not manufactured, it is remembered. The soul already knows its counterpart. The bond already exists in spirit. Your job is not to convince, it is to align. When you assume you are loved, you begin to radiate the frequency of being loved. That frequency, like a magnet, pulls the other person closer. Not by force, but by resonance. Imagine you are a lighthouse. You shine steadily, not desperately. You do not chase the ships. You simply radiate. And because you shine from a place of quiet assurance, the ships are drawn to your light. So it is with telepathic connection. When you assume your specific person is thinking of you, you become the beacon. You become the signal. You no longer send the message. You are the message. There is a sacred joy in stillness, in knowing that nothing more must be done, that you have already spoken in the silence, and heaven has heard you, and that what is yours by divine right is on its way, carried not by effort but by law. You do not run after it, you prepare to receive it. The world may say, act, do something, reach out, but the soul says, be still, and know. When you move from force to faith, you take your hands off the outcome, and allow the invisible hand to move on your behalf. You trust that the message you delivered in love was planted in fertile soil and will bloom in perfect season. And if you feel the need to speak again, do so with joy, not with fear. Let your inner conversation be sweet and playful, not heavy and strained. Say to your specific person, you feel our connection. It grows stronger each day. You are drawn to me now by divine design. Then smile, then let it go. Let it return to you multiplied. You are not here to manipulate. You are here to magnetize. You are not here to plead. You are here to proclaim. Faith does not ask twice. It affirms once and stands still. And because it stands still, the world rushes to meet it. To walk in faith is to walk in the spirit of ease. You do not wrestle your good into form. You welcome it. You expect it. You celebrate it. And in your celebration it arrives. Let your message be one of love. Let your assumption be one of unity, and let your posture be one of peace. The law responds not to noise, but to truth. And when your truth is, I am heard, all things begin to echo back that very sound. Words spoken in silence are not wasted breath. They are seeds sown in the fertile garden of spirit. The greatest tool in the hands of the awakened soul is the inner conversation. It is the bridge between what is and what shall be. When you understand that the words you speak inwardly hold the same power, if not more, than those spoken aloud, you begin to govern your world with purpose. The mind is not a wandering playground for doubt and replayed wounds. It is a throne, and you must sit upon it with command. If you desire to communicate with your specific person, you do not need to run to them or reach out physically. You only need to go within and speak directly to their spirit. For in truth, there is no separation. There is only the illusion of distance, created by the mind that does not yet know its own power. But when you sit in stillness and speak to the one you love, not with need, but with knowing, you awaken their soul to your message. You move in the realm where truth is instant and connection is eternal. Let your words be gentle, yet clear. Let your tone carry the sweetness of certainty. Say in your mind, you hear me now. You feel me near. You remember the sound of my voice and the peace of my presence. Say it not as one hoping to be heard, but as one certain that they are. This is not fantasy, it is spiritual alignment. You are speaking to their subconscious, which is forever tuned to yours when love is real. These inner conversations must not be frantic or filled with longing. They must be peaceful, complete, and carried out from the end. You do not plead, come back to me. You affirm, we are already together in spirit. You feel my love as if it were your own thought. When you persist in this spiritual dialogue, it becomes a living energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It must return to its source, fulfilled. There are many who rehearse their pain inwardly, who relive old arguments or imagine themselves being ignored, and then they wonder why communication remains blocked. The reason is simple: you are rehearsing a vibration of separation. The inner conversation is not a place for worry. It is a sacred space where only truth must live. Speak not of the past nor of fear, but only of the reality you choose to welcome. Talk to your specific person as if they are already receptive. Say, you think of me now with tenderness. You long to reach out. You feel drawn to me for reasons you can't explain. Repeat it not with strain, but with grace. Do not wait for an answer. Know the answer already exists. Trust it is being absorbed beyond what the physical eye can see. Your words are not floating aimlessly. They are planting images in the soil of their subconscious. Often, the one you speak to will begin to feel the effects of your inner conversation without knowing its source. They may begin to remember you suddenly. They may dream of you. They may find themselves smiling when your name crosses their thoughts. This is not coincidence. It is the result of spiritual communication, silently and consistently practiced by the one who knows their power. Your imagination must be the stage, your words the script, and your faith the director. Craft scenes in your mind that feel real. Hear them say to you, "I've missed you," or "You've been on my mind all day." Hear their voice, warm and sincere. Respond inwardly with love, and then carry that conversation in your heart throughout the day, not as a fantasy, but as your spiritual reality. The more you engage in this dialogue, the more real it becomes. Not just to you, but to them. Your specific person begins to align with your vibration, even if they are unaware of it. That which is planted with faith and watered with joy cannot help but bloom. The law does not fail. And when you take the inner conversation seriously, you begin to see outer evidence emerge as if from nowhere. But one must be diligent. The inner conversation is not a one-time act. It is a lifestyle of spiritual discipline. As often as the mind begins to wander into doubt or replay pain, you must gently return it to the truth. You must say again, "They love me. They feel me. They are moving toward me now." And each time you do, you strengthen the connection. Each time you do, you tighten the invisible bond. Speak in the morning when you rise. Speak in the evening as you drift into sleep. For the moments before slumber are when the veil is thinnest, and the words you whisper inwardly travel deepest. Let your final thoughts of the night be conversations filled with love and certainty. Let your spirit embrace theirs in peace, knowing that your message is delivered. This sacred practice is not dependent on time nor blocked by space. It is instantaneous. It is eternal. It is governed by the law of belief. So speak in silence, speak in truth, and know that your specific person hears you, not with ears, but with heart. The one who holds the feeling holds the future. It is not the many words spoken or the endless scenes imagined that carry the greatest weight. It is the feeling. The feeling is the secret key that unlocks the gate between the invisible and the visible. When you truly feel the thing you desire as already yours, you no longer reach for it, you radiate it. And what you radiate, you attract. When speaking telepathically to your specific person, you are not persuading them with logic or words. You are impressing your feeling upon their spirit. That feeling must be one of fulfillment, not absence. You may say the most poetic words within your inner conversation, but if your heart is vibrating with lack, fear, or doubt, then that is the message sent. Spirit speaks through vibration, not vocabulary. The tone of your being, what you feel consistently, becomes the song that reaches the other. You must feel it real, not pretend, not strain, but enter into a quiet knowing that it is already so. When you feel they are with you, even while alone, you shift the entire foundation of your experience. You speak not to change them. You speak to change your state. And when your state changes, your world must follow. To feel it real is not a mental trick. It is a spiritual exercise. It is a quiet confidence that takes root in the heart and flowers into form. You do not rush into it. You rest into it. You do not beg the world to mirror it. You trust that it already has. You imagine the warm look in their eyes, the comfort of their voice, the energy of their love surrounding you. And as you do, you give thanks, not as a future gesture, but as a present truth. Gratitude is a sign of ownership. When you give thanks for something not yet seen, you claim it in the invisible, and what is claimed there must appear here. Many believe they must repeat affirmations endlessly or visualize for hours each day. But the power is not in repetition. The power is in surrender. One moment of sincere feeling, when the heart softens and believes, carries more force than 1,000 hollow repetitions. When you feel the truth of your connection, when you know your specific person is thinking of you now, loving you now, being drawn to you now, you plant the seed in divine soil. That seed will grow, not because you force it, but because it is already complete in spirit. Speak inwardly only when you are in the vibration of fulfillment. Do not speak from desperation. Do not use your words to beg or to chase. That is not spiritual communication. That is spiritual confusion. The message becomes muddied when the feeling behind it is rooted in lack. Instead, speak only when you are aligned, when your heart is calm, when your faith is full. Say to your specific person, "You love me now. You feel my presence with joy. You think of me as often as I think of you." And then stop. Let the feeling sink in. Let the vibration carry the message. You must speak from the result, not the request. From the end, not the absence. Imagine how you would feel if they had just called you, or told you they've missed you, or whispered words of affection into your ear. Hold that sensation, breathe into it, let it wash over your spirit like sunlight. That feeling is the prayer. That feeling is the bridge. That feeling does the work for you. You do not need to speak your message every day, but you must return to the feeling as often as possible. Let it become your natural state. Let it replace the fear. Let it quiet the worry. Let it become the home you live in, not the hotel you visit. When you live in the feeling of love received, it becomes impossible to radiate rejection. And when rejection leaves your vibration, it leaves your life. There will be moments when the world appears unchanged, when silence lingers, when doubt knocks. But your job is not to answer. Your job is to remember. Return again and again to the truth that all is unfolding, that the message has been received, that the love is active and growing beneath the surface. Do not look to appearances for confirmation. Look only to your feeling, for the feeling is the cause, and the outer is merely the echo. Some will say, "But I do not feel it yet." And I say, then practice until you do. Practice until the imaginary feels more real than the physical. Practice until the peace becomes permanent. Speak to your specific person with the tone of assurance. Say, "You feel my love like a whisper on your heart. You remember my laughter. You are comforted by my thought." And then release it. Release the need to be heard. Know that you were. When you feel it real, you no longer ask when. You no longer search for signs. You rest in the knowledge that it is finished, that what is felt in truth must be known in time. The law does not operate by pressure. It moves through faith. And when your feeling aligns with the end, the world arranges itself to match your inner world, not through force, but through divine certainty. To persist is to believe when all senses contradict. It is to walk in the light though the room remains dark. It is the quiet insistence of the soul that what has been declared in spirit must come to pass in time. When speaking to your specific person through the invisible channel of telepathy, it is persistence that cements the bond. Not persistence in effort, but in belief. Not in chasing, but in remaining still within the truth of your assumption. The outer world will often attempt to shake the one who walks by faith. The silence may grow louder. The delay may stretch. Old fears may creep in like uninvited guests. But you must not waver. You must become the guardian of your own vibration. If you have spoken to your specific person inwardly, if you have declared the bond alive, the love felt, the connection restored, then your work is not to repeat it endlessly, but to persist in the knowing that it is done. Persistence is not repetition. It is not saying the same thing over and over again, hoping to convince yourself. True persistence is holding firm to the spiritual state regardless of what the world reflects. When you walk through your day as one who is already remembered, already loved, already desired, you are persisting. When you dismiss doubt and say quietly to yourself, "It is already mine," you are persisting. And it is this spiritual consistency that changes your vibration. When you speak to your specific person in the quiet chambers of your mind and feel the truth of their love, their longing, their joy in hearing from you, you are planting a seed. But the seed must be given time to grow. If you dig it up each morning to see if it has sprouted, you interrupt the process. If you speak from trust one day and from doubt the next, the ground becomes unstable. The spiritual soil must remain undisturbed for the harvest to appear. There will be moments when the phone remains still, when the messages go unanswered. When you hear of them spending time elsewhere, do not be shaken. Do not react. The outer is only ever a reflection of a former belief. And if your new belief has taken root, the world is catching up. You must persist in the feeling of connection, even when the evidence is delayed. You must persist in the truth of love received, even when the silence stretches on. You are not begging. You are becoming. You are not asking over and over. You are affirming once and holding fast. When you assume the role of the one who is already in union, you emit a vibration that cannot be ignored. That vibration reaches your specific person through unseen threads. It whispers to their spirit. It softens their heart. It clears the path. And they may not even understand why they suddenly think of you, why they feel the need to reach out, why your name dances across their mind like a melody they cannot forget. But you will know, because you persisted. Many falter because they expect instant return. They sow the seed and demand the fruit before the branch has even stretched. They speak from love one night, and by morning declare it didn't work. But spirit is never rushed. The law of vibration is exact. You must become the embodiment of your desire before it manifests. And that becoming happens through persistence. Do not let appearances rule you. Appearances are illusions, projections of old states. Let them pass like shadows on the wall. You are building a new reality through the firmness of your inner state. Speak to your specific person as one who already knows the outcome. Say, you feel me even now. You are guided back to me. You smile when you think of me. And then live as though it were true, not in pretense, but in truth. That is persistence. You may feel tempted to give up when things look unchanged. But that is when you must go deeper. Not in effort, but in trust. That is when you return to the feeling of love fulfilled. That is when you remind yourself, my word is law in my world. What I have spoken has been received. What I have imagined is unfolding. There is no resistance that can withstand the steady fire of belief. No separation that cannot be dissolved by unwavering inner union. Persistence is quiet. It is not loud or dramatic. It does not shout. It hums. It moves like the tide, constant and sure. When others grow tired and abandon their vision, you remain. When doubt tries to take root, you pull it out. When fear whispers, it's not working, you reply, it is done. This is not denial, it is mastery. It is the soul taking its rightful place as commander of the unseen. Your specific person may not know what is happening, but they will feel it. They will feel your energy shift. They will feel the pull in their heart. They will dream of you. They will wake with your name on their lips. And they will act. Not because you forced them, but because your persistence changed the vibration. The bridge of incidents will unfold. The perfect moment will arrive. The message will be sent. The reunion will come. But all of it begins with you. Not with what you do, but with what you hold. Persist not in doing, but in being. Persist in love. Persist in peace. Persist in knowing. The outer world is the echo, not the voice. It reflects what has already been spoken in the silence of your inner world. But too often, souls wait for the reflection to change before they believe. They seek signs, omens, or gestures before they allow themselves to rest in faith. This is the inversion of divine order. The truth is this: signs follow, they do not precede. The vibration comes first. The proof comes after. That is the divine law. When you speak to your specific person telepathically, the message is sent instantly, not through the mail, not through miles, but through the medium of spirit. But what confuses the one who is still learning the laws of vibration is the delay they sometimes witness in the physical. They say, I have spoken. Why have I not heard back? Where is the response? Where is the sign? And I say this to you now, you must not look for signs. You must become the sign. You must live as though it is done, and the outer world will mold itself to match your inner state. There is no more potent evidence than peace. If after your inner conversation you feel a sense of calm, of joy, of quiet certainty, then the message has been received. The seed has been planted. The law is at work. But when you anxiously scan the world, refreshing your messages, checking your phone, listening for clues, you have stepped out of spirit and into confusion. The seed has not been watered with trust. It has been dug up with doubt. Signs are beautiful, but they are not the power. They are the result. Do not worship the effect. Worship the cause. Your inner world is the sacred cause of all that unfolds. And when you hold fast to the truth, they are thinking of me now. They feel my love now. They are reaching toward me now. Then you will begin to see subtle shifts. You may hear their name in passing. You may have a dream so vivid it brings you to tears. You may receive unexpected confirmation through others or even through nature itself. These are not coincidences, they are signs. But they followed your faith. They did not lead it. A woman once told me she had been speaking to her specific person nightly, imagining their reunion, feeling the warmth of their voice, hearing the words she longed to hear. But nothing changed, she said. Not a word, not a message, not even a whisper of a sign. I asked her, what would you do if you truly believed it was working? She said, I would smile. I would feel free. Then do that, I told her. She did. She stopped checking. She stopped fearing. She began living from the truth she had been rehearsing. And within days, her specific person sent her a message. I've been thinking about you non-stop, and I don't know why. But she knew why. Because she had shifted into the vibration of completion. She no longer needed the sign, so it appeared. This is the paradox of spirit. When you stop needing it, it arrives. When you let go of the outer to master the outer bends to serve you. Let your inner conversation be your sanctuary. Let your faith be the fire that burns away all impatience. Speak with clarity, then walk with ease. Say to your specific person in spirit, you are guided to me. You feel the pull of my soul. You remember the love that was never lost. Say it once with truth, and it is done. Then go about your life. Sing while you wait. Dance in your certainty. Let the birds outside your window remind you that life is already working for you. Signs are often delicate. A sudden thought, a synchronicity, a pause in time that feels sacred. Do not miss them because you are looking for fireworks. Spirit moves gently but unmistakably. When the message is sent with love and faith, it returns in form, first in feeling, then in experience. Many chase signs as proof that their manifestation is close. But the true proof lies in the absence of need. The moment you no longer demand reassurance, you have stepped into power. You are no longer asking the world to prove itself. You are instructing it. And the world must obey, for it is nothing more than your inner dialogue clothed in matter. You may walk through days or weeks with no visible change. But the change is not always visible until it is complete. A flower does not show its bloom before it opens. The roots grow in secret. The light shifts underground. And then suddenly, without warning, the blossom appears. So it is with your specific person. The thought you planted has taken root. The connection has stirred within them. The feeling is growing, and soon the outer will catch up to the inner. So wait not with worry, but with worship. Celebrate before the arrival. Rejoice before the reunion. You are not waiting on them. You are waiting on divine timing, which is always perfect. Signs will come not because you seek them, but because you no longer need them. That is the moment the mirror clears, and the face you imagined looks back at you. To assume you are loved is to stand upon the highest spiritual ground. It is to walk in the finished picture of your desire and claim it boldly, without hesitation or apology. When you desire connection with your specific person, you must not place yourself in the waiting room of uncertainty, hoping one day they might feel what you feel. You must rise above appearances and declare, they love me now. They feel me now. We are already one in spirit. This assumption is not arrogance. It is spiritual alignment. Most people are trained to love with fear, to wait for signs before believing, to seek approval before opening their heart, to base their value on how another behaves. But spiritual law requires the opposite. It asks you to love yourself into remembrance, to see yourself as already worthy, to feel long before the evidence that what you seek is already yours. When you assume your specific person loves you now, you are not forcing their will. You are aligning with your truth. All creation begins in the unseen. And love too must first exist in consciousness before it can bloom in form. When you sit in stillness and declare within, they love me, you set into motion unseen forces that must reflect that belief. The subconscious of your specific person is open to your vibration. It is receptive to your inner voice. You are not separate. You are connected by invisible threads that respond to assumption more than action, to conviction more than effort. Assuming love does not mean ignoring reality. It means rewriting it. It means choosing to believe the truth of spirit over the facts of the senses. It means walking in the vibration of being chosen, cherished, adored. When you assume they love you, you begin to radiate differently. Your energy softens. Your words carry warmth. Your spirit begins to hum with expectancy, and that expectancy magnetizes the very outcome you desire. But you must hold fast. You must not assume love in the morning and doubt it by nightfall. You must not declare your worth in spirit and then question your value by sight. The assumption must become your resting place, not something you try on like a costume, but something you wear like your own skin. When the world says, but they have not called, you say, love is unfolding even now. When your mind says, but I have no proof, you say, my feeling is the proof. The outer will conform in time, but the assumption must come first. Speak within often. Let your inner conversations reflect the love you know is true. Say, "You adore me. You think of me with warmth. You are grateful to know me." Then feel it. Let the feeling rise like a tide. That feeling will move through the ethers. It will reach their heart. It will nudge them gently, softly, consistently. And they may not know why they think of you, why they feel pulled to you, why your memory stirs emotion within them. But they will. Because love declared in spirit does not go unheard. This is not fantasy. This is the law of vibration. What you assume, you receive. Not because you begged for it, but because you became it. When you embody the state of being loved, when you walk as one who is remembered and wanted, you shift your frequency. And your specific person, knowingly or not, must begin to align with your new identity. You do not need to repeat the assumption endlessly, but you must return to it faithfully. Each time the world tempts you to believe otherwise, you return to the truth. Each time doubt whispers, "They have forgotten you," you reply, "They feel me more each day." Each time your heart aches, you do not fall apart, you fall deeper into faith. This is how love is manifested, not through obsession, but through inner transformation. Your specific person cannot resist what is already spiritually true, and your love is not separate from theirs. It is part of the same divine current. When you assume they love you, you awaken the sleeping knowing in their soul. You call forth the part of them that already sees you, already knows you, already cherishes you. This is the mystery of connection. You speak to what is hidden, and it becomes seen. You speak to what is silent, and it begins to echo. You do not wait to be chosen, you choose. You choose to love yourself now. You choose to believe now. You choose to know that your specific person's love is not something to earn, but something to receive. When your heart is open and your vibration is aligned, the path will be made clear. The right moment will come. The words will be spoken. The call will arrive. But all of it begins with assumption. Let the world show you whatever it will. Let silence linger if it must. But in your soul, you walk with certainty. You are already loved. You are already remembered. You are already in union because you assumed it first in spirit, and spirit never forgets. So now you see, you were never waiting for them. You were only waiting for yourself. You were waiting to remember the truth that has always lived inside you, that you are already one with your desire, that you do not need to chase love, for love is already yours. That your words in silence speak louder than noise, and your assumptions shape the very walls of your world. You do not need permission to be chosen. You do not need proof to be loved. The moment you turned within and declared the truth of your connection, the universe bowed to meet it. Not because you demanded, but because you knew. Not because you pushed, but because you aligned. The invisible is not a distant place. It is the source of everything seen. Your thoughts are not powerless. Your feelings are not wasted. Every time you spoke in silence, every time you felt it real, every time you persisted when the outer world mocked your faith, you were building a bridge, and now that bridge will carry your specific person toward you, not by effort, but by vibration, not by chance, but by divine right. Let love be simple. Let it be silent. Let it be certain. You have spoken, you have believed, and now you rest, not in idleness, but in spiritual confidence. Your assumption has taken root, and soon the fruit will appear. And when it does, when the message arrives, when the reunion unfolds, when the face you long to see lights up before you, there will be no surprise, only a quiet knowing. I did not chase, I did not beg, I simply knew. And that knowing made it so.